Run, and I will try to tell you my 46 years of life story in just a short few moments, because this very moment is significant on my journey. And so I guess I didn't bring notes, and now I'm thinking I should have. I may forget something. But I guess the whole reason I'm here tonight is just to share, again, a short story of a destiny, because that is something that I'm accepting and I'm learning as a new revert. So I'm going to just, like I said, tell you my story in a nutshell. Let's see, I have a daughter that's 21 years old. She'll be 22 in December. So I have a 17-year-old son. And so I guess 23 years ago, I was a young woman and I started off life. I married and I had a pretty happy marriage for 14 years. I had two amazing, beautiful children, and then all of a sudden, that just ended. That's another life story, but not tonight. And so, for probably the next 10 years, I spent those years as a single parent, raising my children, so I knew what it was like to go through financial struggles, to raise two children on one income. And not only that, but just, oh my goodness, you're coming home and you have to eat dinner and you have homework and oh my goodness, I have to take a bath. So all of the little struggles of life, I endured that, I endured and endured. And then again, I was sitting in a meeting one time, I'm a teacher also, and behind me I heard some teachers say, well, if those kids from those homes had support, then we teachers would be able to have good scores. And I remember thinking, don't look back, don't look back. And something just hit me. And of course, I had to look back. I just couldn't believe that I heard that. And those were, I guess, fighting words that put a spark into my soul. And I said, from then on, I would work really hard to make sure that my children knew Allah, well, as God, as I didn't know, anything about Islam. But I said my mission from that day was to show my children that our home was not broken, our life was not bad. And so I again, those were fighting words, and I took on a new mission in life. And so about 10 more years, I went through this whole single parent thing. And then I decided, without consulting Allah, that, let me go ahead and get married again. And I was so completely unprepared at that point, because I didn't know how difficult that was going to be, that someone would really not love my children like I loved them. So again, another failed moment in my life. And so like I said, just coming to grips with the whole destiny. And anyway, so about 5 years ago, I began reading books about Islam, about the Middle East, about the covering, about the veil, just kill my own curiosity. And then 3 years ago, my daughter married an amazing young man from Jordan. And so last summer, I was able to go, 2 summers ago, to Jordan, to experience a little bit of their life. And of course, I instantly fell in love with his family. I fell in love with the way of life. I can't even say, when I say Islam, I say the way of life, because that's what I experienced when I was in Jordan. As a young woman trying to raise these kids alone, I always thought, you had to pray in private, you had to be silent. And when I was in Jordan and I experienced just watching it, the practice of Islam, just again the way of life, I would see the parents would pray. The grandchildren would ride them like a horse. And so I thought, this is the most beautiful thing in the world. Nobody has to go hide in prayer. Everything is just, it's time to pray, you stop and you pray. And I've never known anyone that prayed 5 times a day. It was just so impactful to me to see that. I never experienced that. So anyway, coming back home from Jordan, the month that I spent there, I really was trying to soul search. So I thought, I have to go back to church one more time and just see what needs to happen. So I went to church, to this service at 6:05, and the entire service, my heart was just in so much pain. I thought I just was not feeling something there. and yet I was feeling the emptiness. So as I told Aisha, I went home and I just broke down because everything I had heard at church was completely against what I had watched as a lived experience. And so at that point I said, I'm going to find a place that I can study Islam. Maybe that's not right for me, maybe it's not right at all. I just want to know because I've watched that in my extended family. So my intention was that I was going to go to the Dallas Islamic Center, I guess on Parker Road or somewhere, and I had made plans to go to the Quran study there. Well, it was a rainy night, terrible traffic, everything that could go wrong went wrong. I guess not really at the end, it all went right. But I couldn't find my way there, and my GPS wouldn't work, and somehow I ended up here. And I met, I guess, a janitor in the hallway, and I said, I don't know where I'm at. I'm looking for a class. I was looking for, just a class that was open to the public. And this person said, well, here's a lady. And so he sent me to a lady. And she said, oh, there's a ladies' class upstairs. So they took me in, and some of you may have even remembered. This was in May. You may have been here when I was here. I came in completely unprepared to be here. I was, and Aisha was in the middle of a lesson. And so I thought, wow, that lesson was just amazing. But when it was over, I met her, and I believe I met you, and maybe some of you other ones. And I was trying to politely sneak out of here because I wasn't covered, I wasn't prepared in any sense of the word to be here. And then it was time for prayer. And instead of being able to sneak out, you guys pulled me in. And I thought, wow, I had never even prayed. I didn't even know how to do the prayer. And one of you, I don't even know who it was. Someone said, just follow us. Just follow us. And I said, okay. So I did. And from that moment, again, I was introduced to Aisha by a complete accident, but we know now it was pure destiny. And from that, she introduced me to another lady named Shazia that put me in touch with some wonderful people at Epic, and they had a class for new reverts. And so I started going, and the imam came one day and was giving an amazing lesson, and I thought, this is time, for me to take my shahada. So at that point, I did, and from that happened in May, and since then, I have just really made peace with destiny. I really have made peace with destiny. And every little issue and every little mountain that I felt like I had to climb, everything that could make me angry, I felt like I can go back and check that and say, it was in the plan. It may not be the greatest, it was in the plan. It was in the plan, and I accept that. And I accept whatever destiny, more of it to come, is out here. And so I will end by saying, from that, I was on my way home. I was had traveled that time, and I was thinking, I want to do something to really give back and to be able to try to inspire someone who may have gone through roadblocks like I've gone through. And just all of a sudden, this little inspirational moment happened, and the word lights came to mind. Lights. And I grabbed my paper and pencil and I started writing. What is lights? What does that mean? And I just scribbled out, living, interested, giving hope to sisters. And so I thought, maybe that is a little piece of my destiny. By sharing my story, that maybe I can give hope to someone. We run into people all the time that we don't know if they're hurting. We don't know. They may look like they're not hurting, but they're hurting. And so we all need to be a light. We need to be a light to everyone. And so, again, that is my story. And 3 weeks ago, my beautiful, amazing daughter took her shahada. And my lovely son that's going to turn 17 in a few days, he takes all this in. He's a typical teenager. He is the reason that it is so easy for me to pray 5 times a day, because he is a typical teenager. I could pray 10 times a day for him. Anyone that has teenagers can understand that 5 times, well, that's nothing. We need 10. But anyway, I am so inspired to be a new Muslim, and I really want to share my story, because like I said, I just had wonderful people who I know that have been placed by Allah to touch my life, because I didn't seek them out. I wouldn't have even known how to to go and seek them out. So all of you are very insignificant in my life, because it was just getting lost and ending up here at this very place that really helped me to move on to learning what I need to know now, and having some truth and some fulfillment in my life. And again, I don't know what the rest of the destiny is. You could end right now, but it is the most peaceful, amazing feeling that I've ever had in my life. And so I thank you all for letting me share my story with you tonight.
I just want to let you know, thank you so much for sharing the story. And people like you, it's like a candle that is maybe going a little low, and then you put a new oil, and it sparks up again. So you just generated again the more burst of iman and all that. So we are very happy, and
Thank you.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you so much.